Hello, it's Davey Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records, y'all. Got 5 CDs, including Way Back, the new one. Got 2 Mel Bay books, Into the Labyrinth, Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary. And let's see, the semester is underway, spring 2024. Got the beard going on. It's coming in kind of gray this time. I wonder why. It's a fun time. About to head up to New York, play a gig at Smalls. By the time you see this video, it probably already will have happened. But I'm also thinking about a great tune, a Thelonious Monk song called Ruby My Dear. One of his most famous tunes and most beautiful ballads. And it's been recorded, a million times by so many different people. So I'm going to reference several versions here. Hopefully I don't skip your favorite version, but it's written sometime in the 1940s, I think mid-1940s, because it first appears on Genius of Modern Music, those early Blue Note Thelonious Monk recordings with, I believe it's Blakey on drums and a bass player named Gene Ramey, who I wasn't really familiar with, but he's on like a million records. He's actually on an early Bob Dylan record, according to Wikipedia. That's a trio version of the song, and then maybe the most famous one is Thelonious Monk with John Coltrane. I believe that's like 1957 with Wilbur Ware. Gosh, I forget who's on drums on that recording. Forgive me. Maybe Shadow Wilson. That's a good guess. Anyway, whether it's right or not, Shadow Wilson is on the Live at Carnegie Hall record that came out in like the late 2000s, 2000s. It's a beautiful tune, and there is some variation. I mean, Monk himself, he also recorded it on some of his solo records, like Alone in San Francisco, and there's another solo Monk. He's pretty consistent about how sometimes the intros and outros are a little different. Like, so basically the one on Monk, I'm going to get mixed up, the one on Monk and Coltrane, he kind of has this. He starts with this chord, this crazy chord, where it's like an E7, and I don't have all the notes that he plays on piano, but this is the basic idea. I'm also getting a lot of this information from the great, Don Sickler and Steve Cardenas book they did on Monk's tunes. But this sort of like dominant 7 that also has the 4 on top, where I think he goes from like an E flat 7 to that chord, and then so basically like the end of the melody as an intro. Wild right off the bat, he's got an E7 with the major third and the perfect fourth, and the melody's like an A6 into a G flat 6/9, and then B7 flat 9, B flat 7 flat 9, and then your melody you got 2/5 and E flat with these. So you got a walk up from a 2/5 to E flat, and then a walk up that scale, sort of with a F minor, F sharp minor, G minor, A flat 6, A6, and then a G minor, 2/5 to F, and a similar walk up to B flat minor. B flat minor, E flat 7, A flat, and it walks up. Now here you have like B flat minor 11. Some recordings there's E flat in the bass. I think on the original recording there's an E flat in the bass, and then like an A major chord, an A little cluster, like an E9, Ed 9, B minor. Sometimes it's E in the bass. Then a B flat 7 with a sharp 5, and there's probably flat 5 in there too. I don't have quite enough fingers to get all those chords, so. Kind of wanted to go there, but the bass. I think Rosenwinkel does that. Oops. My bad. cool right off the bat. You know, like 2-5 to E flat with the walk up, 2-5 to F with the walk up, then 2-5 to A flat. And it's interesting, like sort of 2 A flat, A major. I guess you could call that like a, I don't know, like a tritone sub of the 2-5 maybe if you were going back to A flat, but then B minor 7, B flat 7, like it would be going to A. And the bridge does in fact go to A, and you have this nice A major to B minor to E7 flat 9, and then you have this. It's kind of hard to do on guitar because he suddenly goes into this boogie woogie thing on the A major, and he's able to get the note. You know, the melody is 2, 3, 4, but against that you have, I don't know if I can do the bow. Let's see. A major for a whole bar with a little boogie woogie, and then B flat 6 to B diminished. And I'll talk a little more about that later because that part kind of was throwing me off during the improvisation I do on this song, and I kind of think I came up with a solution for it. And then you have, this is a fun part, then you're on C minor and he goes C, this moving line of like the major 7 to the flat 7, so and then there's a C minor 7 that has the minor 7 and the major 7. So you can play it like this, but also you can do it with an open string, so you get this. Then a D minor, then an E flat minor, A flat 7, kind of like with a flat 5 in there somewhere probably, and then, so that's the another wild thing about this song harmonically, getting back to the last A section. So the second half of the bridge, you have the C minor, which you think is going to be a kind of My Funny Valentine vibe, but it has this crazy chord. But basically 2 bars of 6 beats of C minor, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, then a D minor for 2 beats, and then an E flat minor for a whole measure, an A flat 7 for 2 beats, and then this. It's kind of like an E flat, I don't know what else you would call it other than E flat major, but then the melody hits an F sharp. So I don't know if you wanted to conceptualize that as like a dominant. He doesn't really play any other notes in there that I can hear with enough fidelity to hear what the chord is. I think it's just kind of like it's major and minor at the same time. I don't know. It's interesting too because there's a recent record, really beautiful version of this song of Geri Allen and Kurt Rosenwinkel, like a live record. And I noticed when they go do that last bar of the bridge, they don't go back they don't go to E flat. They just stay on A flat 7. And he actually does. He goes. He does a different like little bass part, and I think she plays like an A flat 13 going back into the last A rather than messing with that. The E flat major minor mystery chord. It's fun, you know. It wouldn't be a Monk tune without like a mystery chord of some kind in there. Then the last A, you know. Pretty much when this chord happens, I believe plays well, it's not true. I think the original version there's a B in the bass, but it's this E, the same chord from the intro where you have an E7 that also has the natural, the perfect fourth on top. And so that's a crazy progression to end the song. You got B flat minor 11, E dominant with the major third and the perfect fourth, G flat 6-9 for 1 beat, B7 flat 9 for 1 beat, and then B flat 7 flat 9 for 2 beats. Well, I find that I think on the Geri Allen Rosenwinkel one they aren't so specific about when because the versions that Monk plays, he pretty much always has one beat of G flat 6/9, one beat of B7 flat 9, and then two beats of B flat 7 flat 9. But I feel like on that Geri Allen Rosenwinkel one, it's kind of like G flat, and then the G flat might get a little more time. I don't know. You'd have to ask them what they were doing there. It's a great, it's a beautiful version. It's so nice. So in the coda, I'll just, before I talk about how to play on the song, the coda, you have the same thing. Some versions he'll do that again, and then you have this. I don't want to mess this up. It's he does that little figure over the B flat 7 flat 9 that's hanging there, and then he plays an A7 and does like some whole tony kind of fill. And then some versions he plays an A flat 7 chord. On the one in San Francisco, he just stays on the A7 and hits an A again. But then there's this little figure at the end, and the song ends on a D flat major. He does some kind of, he doesn't do that, but he does a little flourish at the end. He loves his D flat major 7 sharp 11 chords. But yeah, to play on the song, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on where the tempo ends up, whether you're going to play the passing chords. And part of me wants to be like, don't play the passing chords. You don't need the passing chords. But then when I'm in it and playing the song, I sort of feel like it's really hard to lay off those passing chords. So, just do 5 to F. So the first, like, what is that? 6 bars. It's just 2/5 to E flat, 2/5 to F, 2/5 to A flat. So I'm pretty cool with that. And again, it's a question of whether I want to make some reference to the moving lines and things. Sorry, whatever it is. But then you have. I mean, for me, the B flat minor 11 is like a Dorian sound. If I had to, give it a 7-note jazz school scale name, and then the A major, I mean, it kind of calls out for a little pentatonic vibe, especially since in this song a lot you have that. But if you were forced to say what the 4th and the 7th are in that scale there, that harmony would probably be like Ionian, I would think. So if you're coming from 2/5 and A flat, that A it's definitely not dominant. I play a D natural on it? Possibly, let's see. Yeah, because, the next chord is B minor, it's going to have a D natural in the B flat 7. You know me, I know Monk plays a lot of whole tone. I'm a big fan of augmented triads too, but, on that B flat 7, go before the repeat. I mean, it's not going to sound wrong if you play whole tone there. I don't know if it would warrant a super Locrian kind of sound. I suspect not, but I don't know. I don't really want to think about that right now. So then the bridge, because the A repeats, just key of A, 2/5 and A. So first 3 bars, A major, 2/5. A major, and then you have this B flat 6 to B diminished. And I was, a lot of the time when there's a B diminished going to C minor, I'm always trying to make the diminished chords be functional in the sense like, okay, well, what scale, what harmony do diminished chords actually exist in? And, I often make them harmonic minor or sometimes harmonic major, like Wave or The Nearness of You. But, if I'm thinking of a 7-note scale. But these two chords, I feel like fit really nicely into like the diminished, half-whole diminished scale. So like, you know, B flat, half-whole diminished. So, and you could play some diminished. I think on the Rosenwinkel one, he kind of plays like a very fast. It's sort of in the background, but you hear like a diminished thing going on. It just seems like the right flavor. So if I'm playing, to get me to that C minor. I don't know if that was the best way to do it, but like I hear an E natural in there somehow. Maybe because we just came from A major, and then the C minor kind of, with the E flat, minor third of C minor kind of jumps, kind of surprises you. Like normally I would think that I would want that E flat to happen sooner, and I would play off of some kind of C harmonic minor sound, but it doesn't seem right in this song. Maybe because you're coming from A. Sort of seems like the right sound. It's almost like a G13. Then you have your C minor. And I don't know, it would be hard for me to not reference that chord. Like a C minor that has a major 7 and a flat 7. I don't know, but it's probably best to just treat it when you're improvising. Just treat it like a C minor. I don't know, it's hard for me to lay off of that. Again, you know, there's an A flat 7, and then maybe you just play melodically off of the E flat chord. Stop what you're doing and play that little figure. I mean, those of you that with your puny 6-string guitars can't get that low E flat, but it sounds really cool. And then this E7 with the major third and the perfect fourth, it's kind of I mean, I wouldn't play over it any differently than I would play over a B minor 11, really. It's the same chord scale, but then you have this G, you gotta make it go to G flat and then do a B7 and B flat 7, so that's a little trickier. So let's see, if I did my 2-5 and A flat, I don't know, man. I gotta make an E7 go to G flat. It doesn't, I mean, functionally, I don't know. I just kind of shoehorn it in there, so to speak. And the G flat, I mean, you could make it major pentatonic too, or I think it's kind of that would definitely be an instance where I would either play a 5-note collection, like a pentatonic, or maybe a 6-note collection. So like all the notes of G flat major, probably without a fourth, just to not. And on the B7, B flat 7, I might just play real simple kind of arpeggios. So if I'm going from anyway, it's a wild tune, y'all. It's like some parts it's just 2 5s and you think you're safe, and then you have some really interesting progressions and some chords that really only happen in this song, you know, especially in the context that they occur. You know, Monk always had his own little Monkisms, right, y'all? So yeah, again, genius of modern music, Monk and Coltrane. It's interesting on the Monk and Coltrane one, trying to hear the bass and what the bass is up to. I don't know if he didn't get a lead sheet or didn't get the memo, but I feel like Gene Ramey in 1947 plays more of the, is kind of with the piano a little more in terms of the bass notes of the chords than Wilbur Ware, bless his heart. But and also, man, Rosenwinkel and Geri Allen, that's a beautiful live record that they just put out. And I know there's a million other versions of this tune, so maybe there's other variations I don't know about. But anyway, I'm going to play a little bit on the tune, and I hope you enjoy it.